That's what you do in Washington County. You help each other.
If you really want to know what makes this place so special, it's this piece right here.
You know, I've never sat in an interview and have felt so moved before. And when we asked everyone, what is it about the spirit of our community that's so inviting? We could have filled a novel.
Several novels.
And yes, it is wonderful to know people, to always see a friendly face.
But there's something so much more special about this county.
You know, it's almost like a sense of gravity that when an event happens or someone needs help, people just instinctively pull together.
I think when we talk about how so many people move back to this area, it's not just because it's what they know, what they're familiar with. It's because of this.
My name is Matt Gorman. I'm the lieutenant for the Salem Fire Department.
If you know Matt, Matt is just the type of person who really makes an impact on you when you meet him. He is one of the most caring. I mean, he would do anything for you, absolutely anything.
I hooked the truck into a hydrant. Once they'd done that, the truck revved for some reason. Something malfunctioned, causing a pressure surge, caused the hose to rupture and lose control of the nozzle. The nozzle struck me in the head. From that point on, I don't know what happened. I don't remember any of that.
After his injury, I mean, it wasn't even a few hours after he was injured, and people were pulling together to see what they could do to help him and his family.
But they did stat fly me out. I wasn't supposed to make it per se with medically, but with the community came together, the prayers and everything from everybody pulled me through. I came to in 3 days. I was in a coma for 3 days.
You never think you're going to go through something like that, but he seemed really up, and I'm sure everybody supporting him really helped that.
Woke up 2 days later. They had Friday Night on the Square here in the town, which was going to happen anyhow, but ended up being a benefit fundraiser for my family.
I remember seeing all these people. They were just sending their love and their appreciation and their prayers and everything to Matt and to the fire department and to his family, because they were so concerned about that one person in our community.
There was no other reason why I'm here other than the support of everybody else. And I've had that since the day one when I opened my eyes. Everybody was in my room.
The community backing of him once that did happen was just amazing.
And they all supported everything that we done. And I couldn't say enough about the community we live in. I would never leave here. There's no reason for me to ever leave here.
If something happens to somebody, we're going to pull together and see what we can do to make it better, like whether you know them or not.
Yeah, that makes me proud to be a member of a community that will support someone like that.
What is it about the spirit of our community that is so inviting?
I think the spirit is inviting if you're not from here, because you feel like you are. You feel like you're a part of the family.
You always feel like you belong here, just because there's always someone who's going to know your name, and people do. They know you. If you met them one time, they'll know you, smile at you.
Well, one of the things that you observe after you've been here for a while is that there are a lot of people who've grown up here, and they have a lot of friends and connections, but there are an awful lot of people here who have come from the outside, and they're made to feel welcome.
Everybody knows each other, and it's just friendly. If you need help, they're going to come and help you.
There are a lot of giving people here, and boy, they really can rally around and lift you up if you're down, and knowing that you're a part of that is really special.
May of 1999, our son Riley died. He died in a drowning accident close to our home.
Riley was a little boy who lived in the neighborhood where Todd lived. And Riley had an unfortunate accident and fell in the pool and didn't make it. And there was a lot of pain for everybody. And they wanted to do something to celebrate Riley's life.
I just remember it being a very sad time for everybody in the community.
Riley and I had visited a playground in Nashville, Tennessee with a girlfriend of mine, and it was just this amazing playground. Never seen anything like it in my life.
Riley loved to play like most little kids do, and they decided that they wanted to build a really beautiful playground in Riley's memory, and they call it Riley's Place.
I remember the weekend that they called and said, we helped build a playground, and it's named after Riley.
And so everybody chipped in and made something in memory of Riley.
The kids from the community schools helped to draw ideas that they wanted incorporated into it.
I babysat the kids of the workers. They were out there working, and the kids were doing projects to go in Riley's place, and everyone, whether they knew the family or not, was out there. We started on September 10th.
We started digging the holes on September 10th, and we had our first day of volunteers on September 11th.
Everybody in Washington County was there. I mean, absolutely everybody.
I think on our biggest day we had somewhere around 700 or 800 there on that particular day, but altogether there was thousands that came together.
And I just thought how special a community is to come together and make a really awesome memory about a special child in our community.
Well, then on September 11th, that morning, tons of people there. And then, of course, they didn't have a radio or anything. I mean, everybody was just working.
I had ran home to pick up something, and I called, and I said, somebody needs to turn on a TV or get a radio on, because the Twin Towers were just coming down. But as the day progressed, more and more people started pouring in. And I mean, that morning we had plenty of volunteers, but we could have probably used a few more because we had moved it up a day. And as the day went on, just more people started showing up. And I can remember Dad getting up there and putting an American flag on top of
the trailer.
On top of the trailer of something that we had started. And I think everybody that week, just the sense of community and feeling that in a world that just can be so icky sometimes, that there's good.
There was.
A lot of people said, you'll never be able to do that.
It was over $100,000 in 9 months. People that are so close to me, my best friends, they were working like dogs on this. But people that I had no idea who they even were working like dogs.
And the guys from New York, they said they had never seen a build like ours. They said that they were so impressed with the number. They said that, a lot of places have volunteers, but it's normally the same people there day in and day out. And I mean, we had more volunteers than what we sometimes knew what to do with.
I remember the little kids making their handprints to put up above the swings.
I remember I was sitting on the picnic table over by the shelter, going over some paperwork and checking off lists. And I remember Mike came over, the guy that was in charge of the build, and he was like, I think we're done. And I was like, do what? He was like, I think we're done. He was like, I think we can wrap it up, clean it up, and let people play. And I just laid my head down and bawled.
When the park was finished, there was a community celebration to open Riley's Place to the children.
On the opening day, and there was just these people just everywhere. And kids that were just so excited. And I remember all the balloons.
Yep. We let off 2,001 balloons. We let off 2,000 red ones and 1 white one for Riley. So it was very cool.
I haven't talked about that in a long time.
And if you go and play at Riley's Place, you'll see handprints of children who worked on assembling the playground. It's just such a special place to see something that brings such joy to not only the children's lives, but to families' lives.
That's unbelievable. That was awesome. It was great.
It was great.
It was.
It's great. I'm looking forward to taking our new baby there.
It's that one place.
That's your favorite playground, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just a calm feeling that you have when you know everybody's, helping each other and watching out for each other.
Anytime there is a need, this community just pulls together and takes care of it. And a lot of times not knowing the people that they're working for, that they're trying to support, they just do it because that's what you do in Washington County. You help each other.